Joshua chapter 12 is interesting. It's one of those lists in the Bible that I think people kind of often gloss over. Like, what's the significance of this list? It's a list of all the victories for Joshua and the Israelites. So it's the summary of the first 11 chapters of the book, where it says they defeated this one and this one and this one, and these are all the kings, and they defeated this one and this one and this one, and in total it was this many. And it's the list of all the victories, and that they're in the Bible is a reminder that God keeps track. He keeps track of our victories. He did for Joshua and the Israelites, and he does for you too. He keeps track of your victories. And do you know what those are? Like, what are the things that God celebrates about your life? You know what it's not? Or at least what it doesn't have to be? You know, it's not like, well, you dedicated 6 years of your life to a mission trip. You gave up all of your wealth. You gave away lots of money. It's not. It doesn't have to be something big and noticeable like that. Those can be, and those are, when they're done out of love. Those are tremendous, tremendous victories that heaven celebrates. But for most people, the victories that heaven celebrates, just as much as they celebrated the victories of Joshua and the Israelites, it can be illustrated by what a young friend of mine did one day. I was in the back of church, just hanging out. I forget if it was before or after a church service. It was a number of years ago. And this little girl comes walking up to me and she says, "Hey, Pastor, do you want a cup of water?" "Hey, Pastor, do you want a cup of water?" This little girl who just, without me asking, decided to bring me a cup of water because she thought I might be thirsty. And I took the water. And it was wonderful. And it was such a kind-hearted thing, and exactly the kind of thing that Jesus himself points out that he celebrates. You know, Jesus is talking with some of his disciples, and he's talking about who's going to be in heaven, who's going to be in hell. And he says, those were in heaven, like their faith showed up in their life. And they were asking, well, what was the evidence of faith? What did we do? Jesus said, well, you showed your faith in me whenever you did something nice for someone else. When you gave them a cup of water. Or when you went to go visit somebody who needed a visitor. Or when you had something to share for somebody who needed something. And you shared it. Like those little things that aren't recorded in the Bible, that don't typically make it onto the pages of your diary, and that nobody else sees except God. Now, because nobody else sees them, you might start to think that, boy, the little everyday tasks that you do for your children, they're not all that important. They're not very victorious. Or the sacrifices that you make over and over again for your spouse, and they don't even know it. Well, it's nothing all that big. Or the times that you hold your tongue. Or the times that you listen more than you speak. The little things that you do. Holding someone's hand, giving them a hug, spending time with somebody who needs a friend. Jesus identified those things as the kind of victories that heaven celebrates. So keep doing them. And when you get tired, because you will, like even Jesus knows that, we get tired of serving. It's hard to serve. We get fatigued. Just remember then the greatest victory of all that we have to celebrate. That God never tires of loving you. God will never tire of serving you. You get to rest. You do get to take a break. You do get to give yourself a break. And sometimes just rest in the eternal, everlasting arms of your God, who will always care sufficiently for you, who is always eager to share his greatest victories with you. Rest well tonight, my friends.